Welcome back to another week of Mindset Monday with Garrett Bake from American Contractor Network. If you've been joining us over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about growth. We've been talking about getting in the right mindset to take our business to the next level. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Garrett Bake.
Thank you, Justin, and good morning, contractors. It's a bright, beautiful, and for most of you, a brisk Monday morning. Listen, there's something that happens this time of year, right? I don't know what it is, but the sunlight starts creeping over the mountains a little later, right? It starts getting dark a little earlier, and it gets a little chilly in the mornings, right? And so we start to think that, like, hey, you know what? It's time for us to take the gas or our foot off the gas pedal, right? We start to slow things down. And I want to share with you a gentleman that I met this weekend, and it's going to change your mindset around that, but it's also going to change your mindset around the possibilities that exist for you and your contracting business. This weekend, I was over with a good friend of mine. His name is Chris Crone. Here's his book, Have It All. He's really big into real estate investing and whatnot. And I was at his event, and one of the gentlemen that he had speaking there was a friend of his. This gentleman's name is Sean Callaghy. Now, he's talking about Sean on how he's done all these things with his life, and he's this amazing man and all of these different things. And right before he brings him on stage, he says, just so you guys know, Sean is blind. He's blind. Don't worry, he won't fall off the stage. We have some barriers set up so he won't fall off. And Sean comes out. And I will tell you that Sean spoke for 90 minutes, and I never once thought that he was blind. Never once. With the way that he was talking and interacting and engaging, never once. Okay? Now, Sean starts to tell a little bit of his story. He doesn't tell the whole thing, but he tells a little bit of his story. And he says that he grew up and he was blind. And his mom said, "You are handicapped. Right? You are not the same. You are never going to amount to anything." Right? And she wasn't saying it in a negative way, but she said, you're blind. Therefore, you're not going to have the same opportunities as everyone else. And so when he started getting into high school, he got really depressed and started thinking really negative thoughts, and came across a friend who said, hey, you know what? There's really no shortage or no thing that is impossible in your life, right? And so Sean decided that he was going to be a lawyer. He went to law school, blind, got his law degree, right? So you're like, yay, congratulations, here's your participation medal. Good job, Sean. No, he said, you know what? I want to be a multimillionaire. So he spent the next 7 years building his own law firm. And this was in the New Jersey area. He built his own law firm and sold it for multiple millions of dollars. He's still blind. In fact, he's currently invested in over 40 companies, and he wouldn't tell us his net worth, but I guarantee you it's multiple 8 figures. Now, why am I telling you this? Odds are you're probably not blind. Odds are, you got use of your both hands, right? Odds are that you're making money right now, but you're not making the money that you want to make, right? The question is that why? Why is it that you're not making the amount of money that you want to make? And when we were talking to Sean, there was this really interesting thought that came out. Okay. The thought was this. I'm going to change resolution here, see if we can work with this jittery stuff. All right. See if that helps us out a little bit. Okay. So Sean's whole premise for this 90-minute conversation was not the fact that he was blind. It was not the fact that he wanted you to feel sorry for him. What he wanted you to do was to see that in life, you can have whatever you want if you're willing to do what? If you're willing to work for it. And so for him, what he understood is, I'm blind. It's going to be very difficult and not the same for me to build relationships as it is for everyone else. So instead of me trying to go out and build relationships, I'm going to invite people in. And so he got a room at this very famous restaurant in New Jersey called the Capitol Grill. And he would reserve it every Friday for 2 hours. And he would invite people, right? He would invite business owners, and he would invite politicians, and he would invite homeowners, and he would invite anybody he could, 5 to 7 people at a time. And they would spend 2 hours together. And he would focus on building relationships. Well, guess what happened? Well, eventually what happened was he sold his business for multiple millions of dollars. Now, why am I telling you this? Because you're a contractor, right? You're not a lawyer. I'm telling you this for one simple reason. All business is built on relationships. Let me repeat that. All business is built on relationships. So the question that you have to start asking yourself right now is, how much time, energy, and effort am I putting into building relationships? Right? Now, this is not a show up at your, not to knock BNI, but I'm going to knock BNI, not to show up at your BNI meeting. Hi, my name is John. I'm an electrician. If you have any electrical needs, I can help you. Yeah, I get it. Congratulations, networking. But that is like surface level networking. Okay. Networking in its purest form is nothing to do with handing out your business card. It has everything to do with building a relationship. And when Sean was talking, he says all relationships are built on shared experiences, right? Give you a perfect example. I went to this retreat one time. I was coaching with a good friend of mine, Nick Long, and we're in Southern California. And we rented out this house that on Airbnb looked like this, 6,000 square foot, beautiful view of the ocean, magical house. And we show up. The house is from like the 1980s. I mean, it was like outdated, right? But we have 12 guys in the house. We're there. We hired a private chef, and we're cooking and sharing experiences and doing these different activities all together, right? And at the end of the last night, we're sitting around the not the kitchen table, the counter. There we go. Now I think of the word, the counter, all together. And as we're sitting there around the counter, it got kind of quiet. Well, Nick lets out the longest, stinkiest fart I'd ever heard, right? And everybody pauses for a second and looks at him. And then we all start laughing, right? And then he's like, hey, did you guys hear that barking spider? Right? And it doesn't sound funny telling it to you guys now, but to everybody in that room, when we bring up barking spider, we're all laughing, right? Why? Because it was a relationship built on a shared experience. Sure, it was a silly experience, but it was a shared experience nonetheless. So as you're looking to build your contracting business, what should you be focusing on? Sure, you need to hire that next guy. Yeah, you need to get your books in order. But the livelihood of every single business is leads, is marketing. And if you're not spending the time that you need to market yourself and your business, odds are eventually they're going to run out. We don't want that to happen. We don't want November, December of every year, things shut down for you. Why? Because you don't have enough business. Why? Because you don't have enough relationships. I have a couple of clients that we work with. One's a cleaning company. She already, for next year, yes, we're still in 23, but for 24, she has $1.2 million on the book. Landscaping and concrete company. Guess what? They're already selling jobs into March, April, and May of next year. Why? Because it doesn't stop. It only stops because we stop. So I want you guys to think about this. Couple different things, right? When we're talking about shared experiences, you have to start thinking, well, what can I create? Right? What can I create as a shared experience? This could be, by the way, something simple like golfing, right? Like Top Golf. If you guys don't have Top Golf, you should go to Top Golf. It's awesome, right? It could be like hunting, camping. It could be floating down the river, right? Four-wheeling. There's any of a number of things that you can do to create shared experiences. So what are you doing to create those shared experiences? Now, I want to ask you guys a couple questions. I'm going to check in on the chat here in a second. We got Investment Joy and Travis. Thank you guys for showing up today and sharing with us. Let's see if we got anybody else. I'll scroll back up here. Somebody else. I cannot pronounce your name. Sod Trap God, I think. Congratulations and welcome. Sonex Construction. There we go. Working in Austin and San Antonio. Good to have you. Good to have you. So here's the first question I have for you. And I'd love for you guys to comment in the chat, right? What relationships are you currently building? What relationships are you currently building right now inside of your business? And I want to force you to start to think, right? Am I building any relationships? Some of you guys are building relationships. And I'll tell you that one of the strategies that we like to use, and we'll share this with you guys more in detail here in a second. One of the strategies that we like to use for growing a business, a contracting business exponentially, is this. It's building relationships. Kind of crazy, huh? At the end of the day, the homeowner, the builder you might work with, the developer, they don't care whether you have a Makita drill or a DeWalt. That's right. I just said that. What do they care about? They care about the relationships that you build with them, right? They care about the fact that you may or may not know their family, that you may or may not know their birthday, that you may or may not know, insert fill in the blank. All Service Pro Handyman from Apple Valley, welcome. Lee Phillips, welcome. Again, all right, so we got Travis here. Relationships with the lumber yards. Okay, I like that. Relationships with the lumber yards. Now, what are you doing to build relationships with the lumber yards? Is this you just kind of showing up and be like, hey, guys, got any work? Send it my way, right? I know contractors who have their top, we call it top 10, right? They have their top 10 list of people that they build relationships with, because if you have 10 really good referral partners, 10 really good partners, guess what? You're going to be doing all right. And so what they do is every year in the fall, they rent out a suite at a football game, college football. And they take all the sales reps for this particular company to the football game, right? Then in the winter, it's hockey season. They take the project managers to the hockey games, right? Again, they're focused on building the relationships. Because at the end of the day, think about this. You're not the only one they're getting a bid from. Whether you're working with a homeowner, you're working with a builder, you're working with a developer, you're not the only one that they're getting a bid from. So how are you making yourself different? How are you making yourself stand out? How are you making yourself special? Because I can tell you, Co-Construct, Construct Connect, relationship that exists. This last week, one of the guys at my gym, Gene, really nice guy. And Gene's like, hey, we're moving. I'm like, hey, congratulations. He's like, do you have your real estate license? And I said, no, I don't. He's like, oh, well, then what do you guys do? And I tell him, and he's like, oh, we'd love to have you come give us a bid. I was like, sure, I'd love to, right? Go to his house that he wants to buy, right? He wants some deck work and he wants a food pantry built out and some other things. And I'll tell you, and I told him from the beginning, I was like, hey, listen, we're not going to be the cheapest guy out there. That's not us. We pride ourselves on quality, on communication, and on efficiency. He's like, all right, fair enough. We just got off the phone with him. Guess what? We just secured a $38,000 job. Why? Because at the gym, I built a relationship with him, right? Now, I didn't know he was going to be a potential client, but I spent the time doing that. Now, again, I apologize for you guys for the connection issues that we've been having. We're working through that, but stay with us. We got Trey Martin, Boom Property Solutions, Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome. Again, anybody else? What relationships are you currently working on building? Okay. What relationships are you currently working on building? So the next thing that I want you to look at is what relationships do you need to start building, right? So this is our second question. What relationships do you need to start building? So you've heard me give a couple of examples, right? But what is it for you that you need to start building? And I want to hear your comments in the chat as we talk about this. Welcome. We've got Kyle's Handyman Services. And then we've got Rick Bram from with Rick Bram Electric. Looks like. Appreciate you guys showing up. So what relationships do you need to start building? Now, sometimes it's a little hard to figure this out, right? Because if I ask you, who do you want to work with? You're going to tell me everybody. When I ask you your particular product or service, who does it help? You're going to tell me everybody, right? Which on the surface is true, but that's not who we want to work with, right? We want to work with the people that we enjoy working with, right? Again, whether that be builders, remodelers, developers, or homeowners. So how do we identify those people? Okay. So the first thing you got to do is you got to narrow down what we call your ITA, which is your ideal target audience. Okay. You can look at the people that you've worked with. This is the easiest way to do it, by the way. You look at all the people that you've worked with and you say, okay, which one of these people do I actually want to go grab a beer with? If you drink, I want to go grab a beer with. Which one of these people would I invite to my kid's birthday party, right? Those are your ideal people, your good people. You want to stay away from the people who nickel and dime you, change order you to death, call it scope creep, right? The people who are always constantly critiquing your work, right? We don't want those people. So first we got to define our ideal target audience, right? Guess what? They exist with homeowners. They exist with builders and remodelers. They exist with the developers. So you have to find the good ones. Okay. Now, the next thing that you got to look at is, where are these people? Like, where do they like to congregate and hang out? If you work a lot with property managers, here's a hint. There are property management associations. They meet together. They probably would like to meet you. There's homeowners associations. If you like to work with other trade groups and you build those referral relationships, guess what? They have builders and contractors associations. I mean, they have associations of professional builders. Like, I can keep going down the road, right? But you have to figure out, where are your people at? Why? Because if somebody's already collected your people, why would you waste your time, energy, attention trying to figure it out yourself? The second piece of this is who has already collected these people for you. And some of them are in trade groups and associations, but some of them might come from another source, like realtors. For all of you contractors, guess what? There's a lot of realtors who are developers, who are investors, who own Airbnbs, who buy and sell a lot of houses to a lot of homeowners. Okay. But who are those people that you want to connect with that have access to the people that you want to have a relationship with? Right? Again, don't reinvent the wheel. In some instances, I get it. You have to, and there's ways for that. But what I really want you to focus on is, your growth is dependent on your ability to create relationships, right? Inside of those relationships, to create shared experiences. Just because you said that I was at the same conference as you in 2019, that doesn't mean anything to me, right? But if we can figure out a shared experience, whether that's, golfing, or we're bowling, or again, we're shooting guns, or we're four-wheeling, whatever the thing is, outside of swinging a hammer, right? How much more likely is it that I'm going to call you when I need an electrician, a plumber, a roofer, a remodeler? All right. So I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Let me know, what is it that you guys are getting from this conversation, right? What is it, the thing that you need to start focusing on? And there's something that Justin likes to say, and I'm gonna repeat this, but this is Justin's phrase. He says, "There's no time like now." There's literally no time like now. Like, today is the present. You have today, and then today is gone. It becomes yesterday, and you can't change yesterday, and you can't really focus on tomorrow. You just have another today. So there's no time like today. I'm going to get into the comments here. We got Michael saying, I find I do awesome with homeowners, but meeting other people like landscapers, I'm no good at just walking up and talking to them. You're a fence builder. Oh, Michael, you need to be in bed with landscapers, landscape install companies. Dude, I'm telling you right now, every landscape company that I work with, the first thing we do is we hook them up with a fence builder. Okay. Now, for you, super simple, right? I'm going to give you the cheat code, Michael. You need to go through and you need to Google all of the landscaping companies in your area, right? If it's a major metropolitan area, you might have to break it up by city, right? But find all the landscape install companies that you have out there, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to put them all on a list, okay? Get their phone numbers, and you're going to start dialing. Hey, my name is Michael. I own whatever fence builder. I'm looking to connect with more landscapers. Are you the owner? Yeah, I'm Joe. I'm the owner. Cool. Joe, I'd love to go grab some coffee sometime. Right. And then go meet Joe for coffee. Guess what? Joe may be an a-hole, and you scratch him off your list, but then you move to the next one, and then you move to the next one, and then you move to the next one. Right. And so you start with something super simple like coffee. It's not intrusive. Right. But eventually what you're going to do is you're going to build that relationship with him. Thank you, Travis. Relationships do create more work. I'll give you another example. we're not living in Boise anymore. We were in Boise, but we're in Salt Lake now. When we were living in Boise, one of the first things that I did was go meet with builders, right? Because I was working with a lot of trades at the time. And I said, well, the builders know the good trades, and that's who I want to get to know. It's took the wives out, then we went golfing. But here's the thing that took the relationship over the edge. He was a sneakerhead, liked the shoes. And so I had a custom pair of Jordans made with his business logo on them. And I gave them to him for his birthday. What do you think that did to that relationship? Right? It's changed everything in that relationship. Why? Because it had nothing to do with me trying to get dollars out of him, right? It had everything to do with me paying attention to him and what was important to him. So going back to you, Michael, again, don't complicate the game, man. It can get super complicated. Make a list of all the landscape installers in your area, meet with them, build a relationship with the ones you like. That's it. That is it. Okay. Let's see. Kyle, do you guys have a time to meet a bunch of people for coffee? I can't imagine having time to drink coffee with different people every week, but I like the phone call aspect. Yeah, you can do phone call, Kyle. That's a great question, right? You can do phone call, but this is what I'll tell you. And this is going back to Sean Callaghy, who I was mentioning earlier. Here's Sean's approach, which I'm going to try, by the way. Sean's approach is get 5 to 6 people together once a week in a group as a shared experience, and then do the same thing next week, and then do the same thing next week. And then after 4 weeks, now do 2 in a week, right? Again, this is marketing. So Kyle, you can do that. Or again, just focus on one coffee, one time a week. That's it. One new person. And eventually you'll find your tribe, your good people. And guess what? Then you can create a shared experience with, hey, I like these 3 guys. So then I'm going to take them with me and we're going to go play golf together. Now you have a foursome, right? So one experience, but now you have 4 people there, right? Or you have 6 people that you like and you invite them out to eat or to go bowling or to go to Topgolf, right? So you can leverage this. I'm not saying spend all your time marketing. You do need to spend time marketing, not all your time, right? But yes, find the method that works for you. We got Evan saying good relationships are mutually beneficial. If you're a fence builder and have a good relationship with homeowners, send business to the landscapers. Yep. Use that relationship with the homeowners to see the work from the landscaper. Associate yourself with good companies also is important. Some companies can have nice people, but crappy service. 100%, Evan, 100%. And that's also something that you need to be conscious of when you're going through this. So again, as we kind of wrap this thing up, what I want you guys to understand is everything that you want in your business is on the other side of you taking action, right? Taking action. And so when we do these Mindset Mondays, the thing that we want you to walk away with is one simple thing that you're going to implement that week. That's it. One thing. If you can do one thing this week, and then you do one thing next week, eventually what happens? You get incrementally better, right? And a better person creates a better business. A better business creates more money. All right. So as we kind of wrap things up, we want you guys to do a couple things, okay? If you're getting value out of these conversations, whatever medium you're on right now, if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, somewhere else, smash the like button, comment for us, share this with your friends who are contractors. We are on a mission to impact the contracting industry in the United States. The business that will eventually support the lifestyle that they want to live. Why? Because I want to go to the beach in Mexico with you guys. That's right. We're taking some of our clients to the beach this week. Justin couldn't come, but we are taking some of our clients to the beach in Mexico this week, Cancun, because I want to enjoy my life. I don't work for money. I work to enjoy my life. Okay. We want you guys to be able share with all of your friends. We'd love to get more of you on here. But that's all we have for right now. As always, stay focused, take your one thing, take one step, and that's all you got to worry about. We'll see you guys next week, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same channel. All right. You guys know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1. Off you go.